Question time. What are your thoughts on the Israel Gaza War? This is part 4 of the video where I give a Christian response to answering this question, which is obviously a hot topic in our days, and this has been since October last year. So it is a very big topic to answer, and one of the other thoughts I had regarding the conflict in Israel was basically this. What is the real problem of all of this? According to the Bible, the real problem comes down to the heart of man. Think about it for a second. In the previous videos, we spoke about how people responded and how people reacted and how people are behaving. You know, if you get angry and you become impatient, is that because of other people around you, or is it because of something that is a battle within you and you just cannot help yourself? Why do people go and murder? Is it because of the influences outside of them that makes them do that? Is it the bad movies that they watch? Why do men decide to cheat their wives and go to another woman? Is it because of the influences outside of them? Is it because of the bad influences that they're getting? In some sense, yes, but very little. But in a real sense, the real root of an issue of all these things, about the real root behind the action of murder, the action of lying, the action of stealing, and the action of coveting or being lustful after someone else who's not your wife, for example, it all comes down to the issue of the heart. The heart. The Bible really speaks much about the heart, and it is an issue. So, and I brought this to the forefront of your attention so you can see how have been the responses of people, the media, the whole world. If anything, friends, the Gaza-Israeli war and the reactions of it actually prove, if anything, that we are so wicked as mankind. Look at Hamas, what they're doing. And you would look at their actions and you would call that evil, correct? That would be, you would call it wickedness, diabolical, you would call it evil to its roots. And then when you see somebody who unjustly holds the truth and hides the truth from the world in order to bring a propaganda that actually one party is more innocent than the other, is that not evil? The hiding of sin, the hiding of evil things that are happening. What about all the evidences I've given you regarding Israel's position and Palestine as well? And not many people want to listen. Now, why do they not want to listen? What's the motive behind it? Why would they want to hide it? Friends, if anything, even the protests that are happening, they're not protesting out there for Hamas to stop or Hamas to be put away and to be brought and justice to be brought upon them. They are protesting on the pro-Palestinians, but no one's protesting about Hamas. Now, why is that the case? And why would you hide the truth? Why would you hide it? Most people wouldn't want to accept the fact that they are born evil. And that's understandable, because we got a heart that loves self more than truth. But we got to accept the facts, friends. The reason why the responses and behaviors that people are showing in this whole debate, in this whole conflict reaction that's happening, it's always been the case, and it's always been the same problem. So it's the heart of man. Here's the thing. Let me read to you what Jesus said regarding the heart. Matthew chapter 15. Jesus was speaking to the Pharisees. If you recall, the Pharisees, the religious leaders, are those who were most strict. They were fundamentalist, strict Jews. They had 300-something laws, and they kept them all. But Jesus said that did not mean they were righteous. He exposed their hearts, and he exposed the problem which they had. And this is just a general thing to know what defiles a man. What is it that makes a man polluted, defiled, and morally corrupt? What is it that makes him corrupt? So it's the same question we're asking. What made Hamas to do these things the way they do? What causes war? What makes people create war? Where does the evil come from? What makes people hide their actions from other people? Why? And especially when the actions are actually evil actions. In John 3, verses 19 and 20, Jesus says it's actually because they hate the light. And those who work in darkness, they hate the light and they do not want to come into the light. But the other reason is that Jesus says in Matthew chapter 15, he goes on to say to his disciples who couldn't really understand what he was saying, he says this, "Are you still also without understanding?" This is verse 16. "Do you not see that whatever goes into the mouth passes into the stomach and is expelled? But what goes out of the mouth proceeds from the heart." It actually comes from the heart. So everything that we speak and we do are from a heart that is corrupt. And this defiles a person. For out of a heart, Jesus says, come, listen to this. Pay close attention. Evil thoughts, murder, adultery, sexual immorality, theft, false witness, and slander. These are what defile a person, Jesus said. So just to sum up what this video is all about. In conclusion, the root problem of the Israel-Hamas conflict and of all the protests that are happening, the root problem which must be changed, and it's something that no man can do, is a spiritual problem. Let me just be more specific than that. It is a heart surgery that needs to be done, a spiritual heart surgery. You and I need to have a new heart, a heart that is not evil, that doesn't produce the fruits of evil, because that is the problem. They're talking about having peace. Now let's just make a hypothetical idea here. And just imagine, let's imagine that tomorrow the peace treaty comes and there is peace in the Middle East. There's no wars. Let's just say that happens. Do you think that's going to solve the problem of the heart? No, it won't. No matter how many treatises and no matter how many politicians come together or organizations come together in order to stop ceasefire, the heart, if it is not changed, it will not do. That's why the human efforts are useless. People don't do evil because of lack of education. If anything, if they have an education, they're going to be smartly evil. It's not because they don't have many resources or because they're too poor and they need to have a better living circumstance. No. If so, then they will be rich, wicked people who can actually have the resources to get weapons, and because they have billions, for example. No, the issue is actually in the heart. And who can change the heart? Friends, you know what I'm getting at. You know that the solution to bringing peace between Israel and Gaza, between the Palestinians and the Israelites, is that they accept the fact that they cannot help their human heart. They cannot help or heal their human heart, and they cannot change. And they need God to change them. And they both need to humble themselves and cry out to God's mercy. And once they do that, there is no war. In the Old Testament, we see very often how the enemies and the nation of Israel, when God showed them their sin, and how destitute they were, how poor and impoverished they really were, spiritually speaking. They didn't continue life, they fasted. They would eat nothing. They were loathing themselves, and they were praying to God for months, for weeks, for days. No war. They stopped everything and just focused on that, because they were guilty before God. Romans 3:23 says, "For all have sinned and come short of the glory of God." And that's where, whether you are pro-Israeli or pro-Palestinian, you must accept this. You have to accept this, because there is Judgment Day coming, and God is going to judge all of mankind. He has appointed a day where he's going to judge all mankind to all the things that they have done. Hamas is going to answer for all the crimes that they have done. And those who have declared peace, they will also answer to God, because supposedly they brought peace, but they haven't. You know, real peace comes when God forgives sinners. Real peace comes when God actually changes the heart of man. So, friends, in summary, really the issue is that the problem with mankind is heart, is a heart problem. It is a heart problem.